Remote doesn't work.
And then he's not happy.
Okay, we are recording.
Recording, okay. So tonight, Be'ez Hashem, we hope to do the 8th attribute. That means that we're already more than halfway done, I guess. 13, so 7 already, but we're getting towards the end. Okay. The 8th attribute is, Joe, you have the page number?
119.
119, okay.
Thank you.
So Yichboish Avoneseinu, which means to suppress our transgressions. Right? So we'll see what that means. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when a Jew does an Aveira, he suppresses that transgression. So what does that mean? Says the Torah Devorah. Harei HaKadosh Baruch Hu misnahig im Yisrael b'midazu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu interacts with Klal Yisrael using this attribute. V'yisoid kvisha sa'avim. This is what's known as the secret of suppressing transgression. Kihine ha-mitzvahs hikafarachas also nitza. The mitzvahs that we do go upwards like a blossom. They blossom upwards. Uvoikeya va'oile ad ein tachlis lichnois lefanav yizbarach. And they go up to Shemayim, mamish ta HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we pointed out almost every week, that a mitzvah and an aveira, a good deed and a bad deed, religiously, is a reality. It's a physical reality. We said if you get caught speeding, nothing really happened. You just broke the law. You have to pay. You don't have to pay, but nothing happens. A mitzvah is a creation that we create, and an aveira also, chas v'shalom, is a creation that we create. The mitzvah, says the Torah Devorah, goes up. It's b'kei v'oila ad ein tachlis, up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, lichnois lefanav yizbarach, and it's right next to Hashem, whatever that means, right? But it's next to Hashem. Omnam, however, ha'avoynes ein lahem knisa sham chas v'shalom. The averas we do don't get that close to Hashem. Ela koivsham shelo yikonsu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu suppresses them, that the averas should not come close to him, should not get close to the kisei hakavod. Kidduch it says in Tehillim, lo yigurcha ra. Evil will not dwell with you. Evil cannot dwell, will not dwell with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't let it come close to him. Lo yagur b'magurcha ra. In your dwelling there will not be any evil. Imkein, if that's the case, ein ha'avan nichnas pnima. The aveira does not go inside to the inner chamber where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. Mitam zeh, and this is how we understand the following Gemara. The Gemara in Kiddushin says, Schar mitzvah b'hai al moleka. There is no reward for mitzvahs in this world. We do not get rewarded for our mitzvahs in this world. Why? Now, I'll warn you that this is Kabbalistic, his explanation of the Gemara. I don't fully understand it. Maybe you can help me. Says the Torah Devorah, Mipnei Shem lefanav yizbarach. So we just explained that our mitzvahs are right in front of Hashem. The averas are not. He suppresses them. He keeps them out. The mitzvahs are right in front of him. So therefore, v'heyach yitein lo mimash lefanav schar ruchni ba'olam gashmi. So since they're in front of him, the reward has to be a spiritual ruchni izdika reward. And how could a HaKadosh Baruch Hu give a ruchni izdika reward ba'olam hagashmi in a physical world? Varei kol ha'olam eina kedai lemitzvah achas. The whole world is not. All the pleasures in the world is not equal to one mitzvah. And a person has that hana, that pleasure of experiencing a completely spiritual reward in the world to come. That geschmack, that pleasure, cannot be equaled by anything in this world. So something to the effect that since the mitzvah is in front of Hashem, if it wouldn't be in front of Hashem, then we can explain how you can get the reward for a mitzvah in this world. Again, the problem is that the reward is ruchnius, and we're in a gashmius the world. The reward is spiritual, we're in a physical world. Okay, so you can't give me a spiritual reward in this world. But the only reason that that's true is because the mitzvah goes up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when it's in front of him. If it wouldn't be in front of him, then I could get a reward in this world. That's where I get stuck with exactly what he's saying. I mean, we can understand that Gemara in Kiddushin without this. We can just say that the reward for a mitzvah is spiritual, and we can appreciate spiritual things in our physical world. But that's not true. We could. It's only because the mitzvah is in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that for some reason now we can't get the reward.
Because the averas we commit are still down here.
Right.
And they block it.
They block any reward from coming. But
from him coming here to get.
But it sounds like if the mitzvah wouldn't go up to Shemayim, I guess we don't really understand what that means. But if the mitzvah wouldn't go up to Shemayim, Hashem could give us the reward in this world. Because the mitzvah goes up there, somehow that explains why we can't get the reward.
Well, if the mitzvahs are also that essence, that the very thing that is Hashem, it cannot exist also in that outside world where the Averos are. So it has to stay with Hashem, the mitzvah, until then.
Because it's emanated here.
Right.
So
Right.
the holiness can't exist.
See, if the mitzvah stayed down here, maybe he could give us a physical reward for the mitzvah. But once it goes up there, so then it's only a spiritual reward, which can't happen here. I hear. Okay.
I don't even think the mitzvah could stay down here.
Anyway,
Because
so
of-
it's a
right.
contradiction to
Right. So because the Averos are so sinful, and we do so many, but, I mean,
some people might. Yeah.
since they stay here anyways, that means that at any given time there are a lot here.
Right.
It is too filthy for the mitzvahs, for Hashem's essence to occupy that same area then of them. So it has to stay with Hashem.
Right. Okay. I think he's saying the same thing. Very good. Okay. So continues the Ramak. Umitam zeh, and this is the reason. Lo yikach shoichet shel mitzvahs. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not take bribes for mitzvahs. What does that mean? Hamashal b'zeh, I'll give a parable. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu oimer asa arboim mitzvahs. Hashem does not say the following. This person, he fulfilled 40 mitzvahs. Ve'eser averos, and he committed 10 transgressions. So nisharu shloisha mitzvahs. V'yelchu eser be'eser. So it's like a bank account. So if I made $40 and I spent 10, I brought into the bank $40, and then I withdrew 10, I'm left with 30. So we would think that an avera is a withdrawal. If we're going to say that I get schar for mitzvahs and I get einish punishment for averas, so it's like a bank account. So when I do a mitzvah, my bank account gets bigger, and when I do an avera, I'm withdrawing my schar, and the money is getting smaller. So Kadosh Baruch Hu does not do that. We don't say Yelchu Eser Be'eser, that 10 should go for 10, Chas v'shalom, God forbid, Ela afilu tzaddik gomer v'asa avera achas, even a completely righteous person who he has thousands, hundreds, millions of averas, mitzvahs, millions of mitzvahs, v'asa avera achas, he does one avera, doim lefanov ki'ilu saraf es haTorah. So it says, Kadosh Baruch Hu views that as if he burnt a Sefer Torah. What does that mean? That means Hashem, when he looks down at a person, he doesn't say, well, he's a big tzaddik, so he did an avera. If you have a person who bestowed a lot of good to you, and they do one thing that's wrong, so you can excuse it, right? Which is not a wrong thing. We'll see, it's actually a good thing. But when a Kadosh Baruch Hu looks down at us, he looks down at tzaddikim, and he sees, okay, this is Mamish this is one of my guys. He's always doing mitzvahs. He does an avera. Okay, no. When a Kadosh Baruch Hu looks at a person who did an avera, he doesn't see any mitzvahs. All he sees is the avera. I mean, it's a totally separate cheshbon account. What?
Higher expectation?
It's not higher expectations. It's that we'll see how he's going to explain in a second. But it's not like I said before. It's not a bank account. It's not the same currency, right? When a person makes money comes into the account. When he spends it, he's spending and making the same currency, right? So you would think that mitzvahs and averas are the same currency. Mitzvah, it gives me reward, and avera takes away the reward. Right? So he's saying no. Mitzvahs is one account, and averas is something totally different. He's going to explain why in a second, why that is.
But an avera, when we do teshuva, disappears.
Right.
So if you're exchanging a mitzvah for it, then you would also do it with your mitzvah. So you can't exchange it that way, because you could always have that chance to do teshuva, and that would leave.
It's a good point. Right. I mean, it's another reason. If I'm saying another reason why we can't have that accounting, we can't say, "Oh, I made $40, I lost 10," because if one does tshuva, so the aver turns into a mitzvah.
Right,
so you should have 50 instead of 30.
And you improve yourself doing tshuva.
That's right.
And
That's
if
right.
you're good to pay for the bad, then you wouldn't learn anything.
But he's saying a different reason. I think that's emes. I think we're saying it's true, but he's saying a different reason. This is how he explains. So even if he's a tzaddik gomer, he does one avera, it's as if he burnt the Torah, ad sheirotza choyvoi, until he pays up his debt. The achar kach yekabel schar kol mitzvahs. And mitzvah said, then he gets the schar of all the mitzvahs. He explains now. This is a tremendous chesed that Hashem does with tzaddikim. That he does not subtract a mitzvah for an avera. Again, that's the question. Why is it that a Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't just take 10 out of the account? So Ephraim is saying one svara. Says the Ramak, the mitzvah is very important to the extent that it goes up to Shamayim next to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Then how is it possible? It's not fair to take away a mitzvah because of an avera. The reward, so to speak, for a sin is like from Gehenna, from a low place. It goes to Gehenna. It's from a makom nivze. It's from a low thing. The reward for a mitzvah is a person gets to enjoy the Shechina, Hashem's presence. So it's totally different. It's not like a mitzvah is $1 and an avera is a fine of $1 or of $10. A mitzvah is a person enjoys a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's nehene miziv Shechina. He enjoys the Shechina. And an avera, a person has to go into Gehenna. So it's a totally different reward and punishment system. The punishment isn't taking away reward. The reward is something that's totally different, in a totally different realm. As if we could try to give a mashal that a parable we can understand. If a person keeps the law, so he gets, mansions and cars, and he doesn't have various to pay $10. I mean, that's not even a good mashal, because we're saying that if you keep the law, you have a deeply meaningful life. Like you have an inner peace, and for breaking the law, you have a fine of money. It's totally different, right? So that government to then say, okay, you did 10 mitzvahs and 2 averas, you have 8 mitzvahs. That's not fair. Each mitzvah gives me a tremendous, qualitatively different thing, and the avera I have to pay money for. So says the Ramak, the mitzvahs we get to be nene miziv hashchina, and the averas, the person goes to Gehenna, it's not even. It'd be unfair to the person to take away 2 mitzvahs for the 2 averas that he did. He'd be losing out on much more schar, were he to keep his mitzvahs and then suffer for the averas. So says the Ramak, so the mitzvahs come from the nene miziv hashchina. Heyach yenake elu b'tzad elu. How that wouldn't be fair to take away mitzvahs for averos. El Kadosh Baruch Hu goyva chayv averos u'masker schar kol hamitzvahs. So if Hashem takes payment for the averos in the way He takes payment for the averos, and we get to keep the mitzvahs. So that's what it means when He says a strong language that when a tzaddik does an avera, Hashem looks at it as if he burnt a sefer Torah. Now that's better than Hashem saying, "I'll take away kippur aveim and 1 act of chesed," because He said lashon hara. Right? That'd be much worse if Hashem would do that, because the schar we get for the mitzvahs, in a sense, is much greater, worth much more than the punishment for the averas. So therefore, Hashem, when a person does an avera, a tzaddik and a rasha are the same. Now, let me qualify that. Obviously, when a person does an avera, in secular law, we can't take into account, well, maybe now we do, but really you shouldn't take into account necessarily the circumstances surrounding it. I mean, I'm feeling down, so I kill someone. I wasn't feeling well. So I should have a lighter punishment than a person who, I don't know, just did it recklessly. I mean, in this world we understand, you can't make those calculations. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we do Averas, Chas v'Shalom, so Hashem can see, he was in a very weak and vulnerable spot, so his punishment won't be as great. Or this person, it was so easy for him or her to hold himself back, and they did it anyway, it'd be a greater punishment. So definitely Hashem will judge the tzaddik and the rasha differently in the sense, for each person, how hard or how easy it was. And like someone said before, tzaddik is judged like the chut hasaira, like a hair's breadth. Mm-hmm. Hashem is very exacting with his tzaddikim. But the point that he's trying to make is, Hashem doesn't say, he's one of my guys, I'll just give him a lighter punishment. Each avera is assessed in and of itself, not without any regard to the mitzvahs that a person does. Says the Ramak, V'hainu, this is what it means, Yichboish avoyneseinu. Hashem suppresses our transgressions. She'ein ha'avoynes misgarbim lefanav kemitzvos. The averas don't come up and are able to overpower mitzvahs. Elo koivish oisam shlo yis'alav lo yikonsu. I mean, Hashem could have let the averas come up, and the avera would take away a mitzvah. But Hashem doesn't do that. He keeps the averas down there, and we'll get our punishment for the averas, but we get to keep the unbelievable schar for the mitzvahs. Hashem obviously is on top of every single person, watching what every person is doing, hatoiv v'ra, the good and the bad. That being said, Hashem looks at our good and our bad, but He allows the good to go up, ad l'moed very, very high. The nichlal mitzvah b'mitzvah, and the mitzvahs are able to join together. The nivna mimenu binyan v'lavush nichbad, and the mitzvahs together form a building and a beautiful garment. Interesting concept that the mitzvahs don't just float around by themselves, but every mitzvah a person's doing, there's like a cumulative effect on that now he has a bigger and nicer garment, a bigger and nicer house, a bigger and nicer binyan upstairs. V'avonis ein lam sgula zu. Avonis don't have this ability. Elo koiveshoisam shlo yatzlichu hatzlachu zu v'lo yikansu pnima. Hashem suppresses it that it shouldn't have that hatzlacha, that success. Mitzvahs are successful. They go up and they combine together and they create this beautiful garment we get to enjoy after 120. The Averas are kept down by themselves maybe, and then a person is punished for them as he's punished for them. Okay, so we know the order of this sefer. Right? So far, these are nice, somewhat esoteric ideas that have absolutely, positively, no impact on my life whatever. Right? It's just like a nice Kabbalah shir we just had, right? Then the Ramak comes and he shows how we have to act like this. That's the harder part of the sefer. The first part is easy. We're talking about Hashem. Talking about ourselves, that's a bit more difficult, but more interesting as well. So, says the Ramak, Af midazu tzarcha adam lisnaig ba. We also have to act with this attribute. Shlo yichboish toivas chaveroi v'yizkor ra'asa shigmalahu. We should not suppress what our friend did for a good thing that he's done for us. And I'll remember what he's done bad for me. Meaning, the human nature is that, unfortunately, like one bad comment or one bad thing can outweigh or outshine 10 good things. That I think, unless I'm different than other people, that's human nature. It's just a tendency. I mean, I guess some people maybe are more negative than others. Ela Adar says the Ramak, Yichboish hara, suppress the evil, v'yishkacheyu, and forget about it. And push it to the side. I should not dwell with any evil. In other words, I should not dwell in my mind with the things that this person did to me that were wrong. And what that person has done to me in a positive sense, that should be always in front of me. I should remember all the good he's done for me. And the good, positive things that he has done for me, I should put on top. And that should be, I should remember those. And a person shouldn't say, so he gave me a lift when I was stranded, but then he didn't give me a ride to the wedding. I knew he had room, but he didn't want me to be there because he was whatever, I don't know. He's just stingy, he's mean. Right, so he did one good thing, one bad thing. So human tendency, nature would be to say that, okay, he's not really a friend. It washes itself, the good and the bad. We shouldn't do that. Lo yasakein, I shouldn't do that. When it comes to the evil, try to get, you shouldn't have that grudge. You should be misratze. He should find favor in your eyes. But the good that he's done for me should always be in front of my eyes. Whatever I can to take my eyes away from the evil, I should do. Just like Hashem does. Tall order. There's one person in particular I'm thinking of that, in Melbourne. How long could I say that for? It's good because no one has any shot, right?
You hope.
Yeah.
As long as it works.
20 years in Melbourne. You have some people that do unbelievable chesed, but they also have the potential to do unbelievable, wreak havoc basically, and do horrible things as well. If the same person has a heart of gold and so much chesed, if you're in a tight spot, for sure they're going to bail you out. But on the other hand, the person can get under your skin and do things that are incorrect as well. So so of course, when the bad thing happens, we're all human. And that's not, he's not talking about at that time, right? He's talking about when you go home that night or the next day. So how do I view this person? Now, we all have this mindset of this injustice. This person wasn't nice what he did, right? It appears again from this sefer that's not how we're supposed to think. I mean, we're only supposed to see the good and disregard the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is not an accurate perception, right? I mean, shouldn't we? Isn't MS like a good thing, truth? So why shouldn't I have a spreadsheet of this guy, and these are all the good things, all the bad things, and I'll look at both, and I'll try to control myself that the evil shouldn't overcome the good. But why shouldn't I be fair? Why shouldn't I be truthful and honest?
You are being truthful and honest. The thing is when you build relationships, they aren't built on moments. They're built on accumulation of moments. So you can't take an individual action like that, just like you wouldn't do it with your children or your spouse.
Because if you get individual actions, let's say this person has caused me a lot of pain, but he's also done a lot of good for me. So why can I'll go home at night, I'll write it down on a piece of paper, I'll see both. I'll be very grateful for all the good, and I'll also,
Because you're Abbas, you're supposed to have love for your fellow Jew.
But even if he doesn't deserve, I mean, everyone deserves it. I know Ephraim already. Everyone deserves it. I'm going to say even if he doesn't deserve it, I'm going to say every Jew deserves love. You're right.
I'm with you in the sense that I sometimes it's hard. Not sometimes. It's always hard. It's not supposed to be easy. We are not Hashem ourselves.
Right.
But we have to try to emulate that love of all other Jews, even Jews that are doing bad things or friends that do bad things. Like I just said, like if your child, you love your child more than anything. You do anything for them. But there are times when you're so angry and upset because of something, just like your spouse. We have to have this love that takes
it overrides
that we have to try to infuse into everything that we do, so that these moments become just that. They're just moments that will pass, and hopefully, sometimes it takes years.
Right.
Honestly, there's some things that can take years, but I have seen in my own personal life waning of ups and downs and things. But I have the promise of Hashem that this is all going to be worked out. And since everything comes from Him,
right?
I have to.
That's always a helpful way to internalize.
It's the only way. Otherwise, you can't do it. How could you do it? You have to really believe what you say when you say, "I have Abbas Israel, I have Abbas for my fellow Jew, and I have faith in Hashem." You really have to really believe that and do that, and it's a constant reaffirming.
But I think that the chiddush here is that we're supposed to be dishonest in that sense, right? We're supposed to skew our view of these people, of anyone, of our friend or enemy, and we're supposed.
Your view that you're having though is not supposed to have a judgment with it. You can have the view because you need that. That's how you make determinations of things. But you cannot pass a judgment based on.
Okay, so let's not say pass judgment. Let's say the guy. I don't know if it's passing judgment if a person says not nice things to you. He embarrasses you in public.
You're choosing to withhold something from him. Your friendship, your camaraderie.
Let's just talk how I view the person. You're right. The way you view him is going to translate into actions. I'm saying, but again, the chiddush over here is that you're supposed to ignore the evil. We say in Yiddish, you're supposed to be a shmata. Right? You're supposed to do whatever you want to me, Scott. You do whatever you want to me, and I'm just going to ignore all the evil you do, and I'm just going to love you. That's what Hashem wants.
Right.
So I'm a shmata. In other words, do whatever you want. I will never fight back. I'm not going to, I guess in the severe cases. We're talking about, as we always say, we're talking about the typical neighborly, familially, like those type of situations. Not talking about anything that's drastic. That's a different story.
Yeah.
How you act, l'maisa, to protect yourself. But again, it's a chiddush that we are, to me at least, I find it to be a novel idea that I am supposed to skew my judgment, disregard all the evil, and only see the positive. Now I see the benefits of that, but it's a tall order.
Well,
but if we want Hashem to do that to us,
right.
I want Hashem to suppress my avera and look at my mitzvah and build and sew for me that garment, right? So then I must do that for the other person as well. I guess you have to be consistent.
Right. And if you could do it without any problem, you wouldn't be here.
Of course. That's
right. So this is our soul correction. This is our neshama. This is what we're working on.
Right.
Things like this help us.
That's right.
You can't do it on your own, though. You need the Torah, and you need a rabbi.
So if you have that person that's getting on your nerves, right? Think about it as positive. That'll be our project for the week. You think about the positives. Just focus on the positives and ignore the negatives.
You might be
You're laughing.
You might be able to think of the positive.
We'll be happier people, that's for sure. Again, you can take religion, if I may say this, maybe I shouldn't. You can take religion out of this sefer, and you can this will make us happier people. It's a self-help, but this is obviously Torah, and we can't take the religion out of it. definitely that's a mile an advantage of the Sefer.
Maybe you're not supposed to ignore the negative, but try to turn that into a positive
Even
instead.
up, right?
Like, why? That's what I do. I try to say, what is Hashem trying to teach me here? Why am I seeing this? Why am I feeling this? What am I here to learn from this? And if you do that, and everything is a piece of something that you build upon, and even if you have a bad brick that's not quite perfect, you
Still,
still
the whole
building off of
structure
it.
is a good thing. Right here. Excellent. Okay. Fine. Can you hit the?